Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your girl, Nikki Nick, Don Juan, Billy Go, whatever you would like to call me. It's your favorite mental health therapist, spiritual life coach, Reiki practitioner, Akasha record reader, etc., etc. So today we're going to touch on reincarnation, and we're going to touch on it because it has to do with the topic that we're talking about today, which is karmic debts and karmic contracts. So what's karmic debt and what are karmic contracts? Okay, now for my religious people, this is not for you, okay? I do not identify as being a Christian. I've been a Catholic for some odd years. I already know the teachings, okay? I stepped outside of that. I did my own research. So this is not for you. This is for those that's already on a spiritual journey and you would like to know more when it comes to that. So don't you come in my comments with some Christian teachers and I done told you I don't identify. You wasting your breath. Take your free will and keep scrolling. All right, so karmic contracts and karmic debts. Well, let's first talk a little bit about reincarnation for those that believe, of course. So what is reincarnation? Reincarnation involves us being a soul, right? So this is our vessel, right? This is our way of navigating this earthly realm. Kind of like how you need school supplies for the 3D version of school, right? We need a notebook, pencil, paper, textbooks for the subject we're learning. Well, we're spiritual beings having a humanistic experience. So we are a soul before we are a vessel, okay? Our vessel is like a school supply so that we can navigate this earthly realm. Now, don't get me wrong. Our vessels can definitely be obsolete, all right? However, that's beside the point. When it comes to reincarnation, we have had several vessels, okay? Meaning there are souls that have been back in the AD, BC era. They reincarnated back into the 1800s. They reincarnated back in the 1900s. They reincarnated back in the, so on and so forth. You get the pattern. Okay, now I just said everybody don't believe in reincarnation, so this is not for you. Keep scrolling. So like, for example, me, right? Old soul is an understatement. And what I will say is that in one of my most recent past lives, I reincarnated. Okay? And this is also going to help you kind of understand what a karmic debt and karmic contract is by me sharing a little bit of my story. Well, how did I even find out that I am a reincarnated soul? The Akashic Records. What is the Akashic Records? The Akashic Records has, it's basically like the all-knowing, okay? Every thought that you ever had, every life that you ever lived, past life regressions. Now, I will cover the Akashic Records in a whole separate video, okay? Because the topic is focused on karmic debts and karmic contracts. But I had to mention this because you're like, well, how did you know this information? So basically, when you go on your Akashic Records, and if you don't know how to do this yourself, you can definitely go to a person who can do the Akashic Records, right? In a reading form. It's multiple different ways to access the Akashic Records and how, different people utilize it in a different way. Well, basically, you find out past life information. I mean, more than that. But in this case, you can find out your past life information. You can find out, who you were in that past lifetime, what your name was, what you did, what lessons you didn't learn, where you messed up. So in this case, my most recent past life before I reincarnated into this one, I was the breadwinner in the family, okay? And I had a daughter. I had one child, okay? Now, her father and I, we weren't. Yeah. So I was talking to someone, right? And basically they made me all these false promises. Oh, I'm gonna marry you. Oh, I'm gonna do that. Oh, and guess what? They stole my money, my inheritance, a big bulk of it, and decided to go marry someone else and build another life. Now, as you can imagine, I was extremely hurt, as an understatement, okay? So what did I go do, right? I wanted to get my lick back in some way, shape, or form. Like, you stole from me, you lied to me, and you took my stuff to go build with somebody else. So I went to go seek out a dark practitioner, when I really should have just gave it to God. Well, that's beside the point, okay? The point is to learn the lesson within the story. So the practitioner gave me like different things to do, but somewhere in between, either they forgot to tell me to do a certain step, or something happened basically where it backfired, and God allowed it to backfire. That's very important. God allowed it to backfire because God didn't have to. So what ended up happening? Well, I ended up getting sick in that lifetime, and I ended up passing away from tuberculosis. Now, that ended up leaving my child to have to go into the foster care system. And so, and that's a whole nother thing, a whole nother story I will dedicate a video to. But basically, I had to pay that back. And mind you, this is just one of the lifetime. The only reason I'm bringing this particular one up is because I feel like this is the easiest to understand what a karmic debt and what a karmic contract is, and how you're serving that out. Because I've had other lifetimes where I've dibbled and dabbled in black magic, but I've been more of a light worker in majority of my lifetimes than I have dabbled in the black magic. Don't dabble in the black magic. Listen to somebody who's been there, done that. So basically, we're soul, right? I'm in the ethers. And so we sit down and we're having this consultation with God, right? Because God ordains our path and our purpose. So God is basically like, hey, you still have this lesson from this lifetime to learn. You got this lesson from that lifetime to learn. You got this lesson from this lifetime to learn, and so on and so forth. Now, mind you, I am in school for metaphysical science, okay? This is totally separate because, my master's is in counseling psychology. I am licensed as a licensed professional counselor. And no, this isn't counseling, but I'm also a certified spiritual life coach and so on and so forth, okay? So as I'm talking about this stuff, understand, I know my stuff. I don't know it all. I'm always the student and the teacher. I know my stuff. So basically, God is like, okay, you got to serve out this contract in order to serve your karmic debt so you can free your bloodline from certain curses and so on and so forth, okay? I am the chosen one in my bloodline, okay? I am one of the anointed ones in the bloodline, all right? So not only am I serving my karmic debt, I'm also serving the karmic debts from my ancestors and so on and so forth, and I'll make a totally different video to explain that too. So God is like, okay, this is also my last lifetime too, just to put that out there. So God is like, okay, you have to, a karmic contract can consist of abuse, power, control. I just had a session where, with my practitioner, right? I walk it like I talk it. That's one thing to know about me. So my practitioner removed power, control, abuse, financial limitations, and so on and so forth, because that was the karmic contract I was supposed to serve in order to free up my bloodline and serve my karmic debt. Now, yes, karma. You can have good karma, you can have negative karma. In this case, karmic debt means you have to pay back something, okay? And like my professor said, you could live a lifetime and you could have been a crook, you could have been, a thief and all the rest of that, mistreated people. And you may not pay back that lifetime until maybe 4 lifetimes after that, until your soul is ready to pay back the kind of karmic debt it needs to pay back. Some people don't even finish serving their karmic debt. Some people don't even live out their karmic contracts because it can be that difficult. And so some people think that God don't love them because they're going through different stuff. Well, where was God when I was praying for him to help me with this? Well, God is almighty. Well, where was God when I was praying for him to help me with that? God was right there, but you were serving a karmic contract or being used as spiritual bait. And I'll cover spiritual bait in another video, okay? Okay, so some of you guys, you're literally soldiers for the Lord, and at the same time, you're serving back your karmic debt and your karmic, within your karmic contract, so that after you're done serving your karmic contract, you get a new one and a life of freedom. But if you would like a reading or spiritual life coaching sessions to develop a closer relationship with God, develop your spiritual gifts, so on and so forth, all right? DonJuanSpiritualGuidance.com. That is the website where you will find your needs. You can also email me at DonJuanSpiritualGuidance@gmail.com for any other questions and or concerns, okay? You can find me on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, okay? Peace out, deuces.